So I came today expecting to check on this tank. There's now a large shark in here, and there's actually quite a lot of sediment in the sand. So I've done a much larger water change than I hoped. So I will want to return ASAP, do more of a water change. I really want to get all that sediment out of the sand, and then I'll have to bring more RO because I had to use the RO topping up from a larger than expected water change today. So in this tank, the temperature is 24.6. The salinity is 0.023. So that's all good. Now, considering there's currently a Paul Talbot shark or horn shark in the tank, we want to keep the tank a little bit on the cooler side. So the temperature right now is okay. Hopefully it wasn't taken straight out of cold water. And then what we'll do is just turn the heaters down a little bit. But we're going to have to keep an eye on those heaters, because as we start to put tropical fish in, we're going to want to turn them potentially back up again. And once the tank gets well established, we'll then look at plugging the UV in. But you don't really want to have a UV on in a new tank when you're still establishing bacteria, because the UV can kill off some of your good bacteria. So right now this tank's just cycling away. Sediment that's settled on the bottom of this sump. So I'm just going to use this hose and do my best to suck all this out. If you did want to make these skimmers more efficient, you could think about getting auto head cleaners, and the auto head cleaners cost a bit of money, but what they actually do is they will automatically clean. So then they'll actually clean these skimmers regularly without you having to do it. The water quality is quite good. Nitrate is very low. Nitrite is pretty much zero. pH is at least above 8. Now phosphate's quite high, so I'm going to put some algon in, and the algon will help to remove the phosphate. So these little bags will fill up, then eventually just chuck them out because they'll be nice and full of phosphate. Suck all your phosphate out. Now, if you allow the phosphate to stay in the water, it's not a big drama as far as the animals are concerned, but it will cause more algae. Less phosphate, less algae. So the algon will also help to get rid of silicates, and silicates are the reason for the brown algae. If you're getting the brown algae, then it's silicates. If you're getting the green algae, then it's phosphate. Now I'm just going to replace this filter wall more regularly. It's replaced the more efficient. My favourite media is definitely polyfilter, but as far as mechanical medias are concerned, I find this JBL stuff really pulls the particles out of the water. And considering we're getting a fair bit of sediment building up in the bottom of the sump, I think having this in there would be a really great idea, just to polish out all those really fine sediment pieces. The more regularly this is replaced, the better. Using the gravel cleaner to check how dirty the gravel is. Now there's a lot of sediment coming out in the gravel. So see, when I go like that, there's heaps of sediment coming out. So I'm going to want to give it a pretty good gravel clean, because this is totally full of sediment right now, which is fairly common in a curing tank. But I really want all that to be removed. You can see when it runs clear. So watch this. See, now it's started running clear. Now, because there's heaps of sediment coming out of the sand, I'm going to add a second layer of this over the top of the polyfilter. Over the top of the Marine Pure, because all that sediment is likely to chug up this pre-filter very quickly, and that's going to be something that's going to need attention. Whenever we do a big clean and we disturb everything, then the filters do need cleaning because they clog up super fast. Feeding an animal like this, the most important thing is to do is pay attention to the belly. Now, when a shark is really thin, they'll get a crease along the inside of their belly. So this guy's not quite there yet. This guy's just been put in the tank. So it'll often take a couple, if not more, weeks before an animal will start feeding when being introduced to a new tank, especially a big fella like this. So if it doesn't feed for a couple of weeks, I really wouldn't be that stressed about it. Now, when it comes to feeding this guy whitebait, prawn, calamari, squid, all that sort of stuff's great. But that's predominantly protein, and we don't want anything cleaned or degutted. We want the guts and all that. We want them to eat all that. And what we really want is to put some vitamins and probiotics into the food. So if you can grab this stuff and gut load the food by pushing it into the flesh of the prawn or whatever it is, if you can get the animal to eat this, then you're making sure that it's getting all the vitamins, minerals and so forth, and it's also getting the probiotic bacteria. And what the probiotic bacteria is good for is that when the fish poo, then the bacteria in the poo eat the poo. So it really helps to stabilize your water much better. And I would absolutely introduce probiotics into the flesh of any food that you're going to feed to large predatory fish like this.